This time on Goss's Garage, I've got some tips for you regarding welding various types of metals. See, if you're into any type of restoration or you're going to build a car or anything like that, you will wind up welding things. And in many cases, you'll wind up welding different types of metals. All right, now, in the past, we had the old-fashioned stick welder. This was where you had a handle not too much unlike this, but it was a clamp on the end and you put a welding rod into it and you welded with that rod, and the rod had flux on it and so on. Well, those are pretty much obsolete. Well, they went away, and then you had one that looked just like this. It was a wire feed welder. And what that means is, just like this one, you have a wire in here that is contained on a spool inside the welder, and the welder turns that spool and forces this wire out. This wire is now your welding rod. Well, okay, wire feed welders, they were a big advancement, but they also are now obsolete. Well, they were replaced by what's called a MIG welder, metal inert gas. And what that did was that you have a gas bottle that goes on the welder, and there is a second tube inside this, one for the wire, another for the gas to come out, and it shielded the welding that you were doing and made you a much better welder. So we had MIG welders, and they were really, really good. And that's what most everybody uses today. But if you're building a car or even restoring a car, you may have to do different types of welding on different types of metal. Now, okay, we have this MIG welder, and the MIG welder will do a good job on mild steel, but suppose you have aluminum and you want to weld aluminum. That meant you had to have a TIG welder. Or maybe you want to work with mild steel and you want to braze it, such as we see here. You want to braze it? Well, okay, now you need a gas welder or some other adapter, so you might wind up with 3 or 4 different welders to do all of these jobs. Well, this is a new unit. This is from Snap-on Tools, and by simply adjusting this, you'll have a screen on here, and the screen will tell you different facts about what you're going to be welding and, you know, the speed of the wire. Has a mini computer in there, and that calculates. You put in the basic information, and it calculates how fast the wire comes out based on the gauge of the wire, the gauge of the metal, and all this, and what type of welding you're doing. Now, with certain changes on this, all you have to do is change a piece here and there. You wind up with a welder that with one unit like this, what you do, you can weld mild steel, just like we've done here. This was actually done with this welder. We can also do aluminum, so we no longer need our separate TIG welder. We just need the proper adapter for this machine. So that cuts down on buying a second machine. So we can weld aluminum, and as you can see, we can do a really nice job of it. And over here, we have brazed this metal, again, using this same welder. We've brazed it, nice looking job, very efficient, and we didn't have to have another welder. So if you're going to restore a car or you're going to build parts for a car or anything like that, this is something that you might want to consider. Now, is it pricey? Yeah, a little bit. Check with your Snap-on dealer to get an actual price on it, but one thing I can tell you, it is far, far, far cheaper than buying 3 or 4 different welders, and you'll actually save money. So consider it. And if you have a question or comment, drop me a line. right here at radio@goss-garage.com.